Hello, my name is Claudia Tornquist. I'm the president and CEO of Kodiak Copper. I'm here with Chris Taylor, the founder and chairman of Kodiak Copper. Kodiak is a copper exploration company. We are focused on the MPD project in southern British Columbia that we've now been exploring for several years successfully and just recently came out with a maiden resource. We also have another project in our portfolio, the Mohave project in Arizona, and that's the project we just announced some news on.
And Chris is joining us as well, going to give us a little bit of insight as well. So Claudia, I'll start with you though. Ultimately, great announcement today. Maybe tell us a little bit about, give us the headline numbers and why you've done this deal.
Well, we've owned the Mohave project for several years now. In fact, we acquired it shortly after the NBD project, but haven't done much work because we were successful right away, made a discovery at NPD. And so Mohave has always been, if you will, neglected, and we haven't really received any value for it in the market. And now with the market very favorable for domestic copper exploration in the US, we thought the time is right to monetize that asset or crystallize the value for our shareholders. And that's really the background of this transaction.
Why not go ahead and do it yourself if now's the right time and people are looking to US assets? Is this not something that you could have done yourself? Why is it better with a partner?
Well, it's twice as good because we have two very prospective porphyry projects in our portfolio. And obviously, Teck is a fantastic partner. We have will have a 28% shareholding in the new company, Kay Copper. And I'm very happy to be working with Teck on this transaction. And yeah, for them, it's a very similar story. They have only that many exploration people, and they have a number of projects in their portfolio that they like, but they just can't give the attention they deserve. And so for them as well, putting it into a vehicle where into a new company where it gets the attention to really maximize the value of this project. That's the rationale for them, just as it is for Kodiak and Mohave.
Okay, so Teck and you will kind of be sort of equitable 28% each, as I understand it. But I assume that a US project will attract a different investor base than, say, a Canadian company on the TSX exchange could do. What are your expectations around that, and in how involved are you with the new company?
Well, I think I'm very confident that the new company will be well received by investors. There's a lot of demand for US copper out there. And the company will start out with a very conservative valuation. If you run the numbers in the press release, it's an 80 million pro forma. And there's a lot of upside there if you compare to similar US-focused copper exploration company. So I think the Kay Copper is very well placed to really generate value for the investors.
Right. Chris, if I may drag you in at this point, you've obviously done some. You understand, obviously, the Kodiak asset well. But you've done some diligence as well to put this transaction together. Can you talk about the kind of Mohave asset and the Copper Hill asset and sort of tell us what you think that combined entity looks like?
Okay, well, first off, Mohave is a project. It's a copper porphyry project that's located south of Kingman in Arizona. It's been in Kodiak for a long time, and we don't talk about it a lot because the focus is on MPD, obviously, in British Columbia. But the Mohave project is one that I selected for the company as a very interesting early stage prospective porphyry. It's near the Baghdad mine, so it's in the right kind of jurisdiction to potentially make a big discovery. And it has some geological features that that are attractive and are hallmarks of most of the major discoveries that are in that neck of the woods. But it's been sitting here idle in Kodiak for a long time. And so we had the opportunity through some recent discussions to sit down with Teck and talk about their dormant portfolio of projects. And it turns out that there's this other project called Copper Hill, which is not too far away. It's about 300 kilometers away, also in Arizona. And they really like the asset, but it doesn't fit in with their core exploration profile. But I really liked it when we started doing the due diligence because, again, this is something like Mohave, but it has actually more potential porphyry targets that look very appealing from an early stage. And it really reminds me, quite frankly, of some of the early work that we did at MPD when we had data that indicated that we had the gate zone nearby, but it had not yet been successfully drilled, but they had drilled into the margins of it. And there's some early stage drilling at the Copper Hill project that Teck had, which is very, very similar. So a number of interesting porphyry related showings on the surface, including some good initial drill holes, short intersections of decent copper grades right from surface. But there are large targets there that with a little bit more Kodiak style drilling could definitely yield some brand new discoveries. And this is kind of elephant country. It just didn't, I was looking at it a little bit before we got in the call, but there's, it's billions of pounds of copper equivalent that have been defined in this area just in local deposits. And there is a recently decommissioned smelter, which is right nearby as well. So if there's a major discovery made by Kodiak in this area, it's going to be a great location to do it. And it'll line up very well with the critical and strategic metal focus that the U.S. is very much involved with right now.
Right, but explain, are they similar in the sense that you're talking about with Copper Hill, so multiple porphyry centers with this kind of potassic alteration, whereas Mohave is what? Is it sort of laramide porphyry system, or what?
Yeah,
what
it's laramide and definitely copper, moly, silver. So a little bit different, but both dominant copper assets and both very appealing. Like one thing that we've noticed, like, some of the work that Claudia has to do as the CEO of a copper company is talk to a lot of potential partners and a lot of copper producers. And, I've got to tell you, in areas that are very high priority for the big boys, Arizona is a premier destination, right? So we get a lot of tire kicking and a lot of interest, which is based on Mohave. And, I'm sure this is going to be the same thing on Copper Hill.
Okay, but what we're dealing with there is there's a lot of historic drilling on both. In fact, when was Mohave last drilled? About 2011, 12, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Okay. So and the same. Well, obviously with Copper Hill, obviously Teck have identified these multiple porphyry centers, but the grade there versus what you've got up at Mohave. I mean, how do you compare and contrast, and what does that tell you in terms of viability? And will you be able to find these higher grade cores which one expects with porphyries?
Well, it's very interesting. So I would view the grades as not the grades in the drilling that have been done so far are not indicative of the grade potential of both of these systems. And so this is exactly what we saw when we started working at MPD. You had a bunch of 0.1 to 0.2% copper intercepts, but when we found the center of the system, the higher temperature, higher grade mineralization, we were up over 1%, right, with some of the gate zone drilling. And this is very similar. Like when you're looking at Copper Hill, when you're looking at Mohave, you're looking at drilling that appears to have intersected the periphery of a larger porphyry system. And some of the deeper drilling that we have when we're looking at Copper Hill, for instance, and I say deeper, there's very limited drilling actually at Copper Hill compared to something like we had at MPD when we got involved. It's maybe only 10% of the data that we were looking at when we did that deal. But the drilling that we have so far shows that there is pyrite over chalcopyrite dominance, and that's usually indicative of the shells, some epidote alteration, and some of the drilling, though, appears to have clipped the beginnings of the potassic feldspar alteration zones, including increase in sulfide content. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for the ability to go in, follow up on the existing data, and have that potential to make a transformative discovery. And I think both of those projects, Copper Hill and Mohave, are positioned to do that.
Okay, so there's a lot of kind of untested geological anomalies, and I get the thesis, but can you talk about how you move this from conceptual through to drill ready, and where's when will that actual confidence be there to be able to think like that?
Well, that's a little bit dependent on the target. And so, as I was saying, we have several targets at Copper Hill, which are ready to be drilled. And we do have a drill proposal in the works. So we can get going on that one pretty much right away based on the Teck data. Like when Teck was doing work on the project, they did geochemistry, structural mapping, geochem, TerraSpec. There was a whole bunch of geophysics that they did, in-ground, airborne. And so with the historical drilling that's there and all the work that they did, there's immediately available targets that could be drilled right away. And so you'd be looking at a relatively short discovery timeframe. And at Mohave, we have the data from the 2011 program and some very interesting stuff that's been percolating in the back of my mind now for over 10 years, 15 years or so. And these are other targets on the west side and the east side of the project. We recently expanded those claims, for instance, to cover some of these. And those can be drilled relatively short term as well, depending on the budget, availability, all these things. And so I think what we have, what we're laying up to here, and what gets Teck excited as a shareholder, Kodiak excited as a shareholder, me excited as a shareholder, is that we have the ability to get those drills going in the near future using these data sets, and we could, potentially make some very interesting discoveries.
Okay, so it's kind of stage gated towards Copper Hill initially. In terms of hunting porphyries, people can understand that it's a long drawn out process for juniors traditionally. Obviously, this is an unusual one. You've got Teck in there as a significant minority partner. But how do you chase this down in a market like this? Are we chasing elephants, as elephant countries you say, or is there a need to kind of demonstrate to the market kind of sort of near-term potential through the oxides, as it were?
Yeah, like if you look at something like, if you look at the new one, Copper Hill, this isn't really an oxide project, right? So the drilling that's been done, they got into sulfide phase right away, which is really good. I like the area because if you look at the Christmas and Chilito, I believe they're called, porphyries that are nearby, just in those two, which are adjacent kind of deposits, there's like 5.5 billion pounds of copper equivalent that they've developed. So they're a good size. But this is also the area that hosts Resolution. Which, I have to get the numbers right. That's like 29 million tons of copper in that deposit. It's a deep, very large, it's famous, very large, very deep, incredibly valuable porphyry discovery, which is not too far away. And I look at some of the geophysical targets that we've developed or that Teck developed. I don't want to get ahead of myself at Copper Hill. They definitely have the potential for a target on that range, which is very exciting to me. These are the discoveries that every geologist kind of dreams of making. So we don't yet know until we do more drilling whether that could be the case, but the early indications are that there's a significant sized target at that sort of 500 plus meter depth, which was similar to the early discovery work that they did at Resolution. And so that's in addition to the shallower zones that are present on the east side of the project, which could have discovery potential within the first couple hundred meters. And so I'm very excited by these things on the whole. But it's going to be, like you mentioned, Matthew, it's going to be staged exploration. We're probably going to start drilling some of the shallow targets early on, expand the geological modeling, the geophysics, and then go after some of the big elephants as well. Matt, I just noticed I said Kodiak Copper. I meant Kay Copper. This is the problem when we have the same first letter for the old company and the new company name.
Okay. Right, Claudia, back over to you, because we've got a big partner in the shape of Teck. We've got a big idea and big opportunity here. We need to finance this. So what does the new kind of deal, what's the deal structure, and what will the kind of capital formation look like?
Initially, we'll capitalize, the company will be capitalized with roughly $5 million, with Teck and Kodiak both large shareholders, around 28%. And with this initial capital, the new company, Kay Copper, will be in a position to move both projects, Mohave and Copper Hill, forward. Both projects have targets that can be drilled near term, and for both projects, we have indicative initial budgets to work this year and generate results that will enable a re-rate in the share price and move the project forward. So that's the plan for the year. We were able to attract a really good CEO for Kay Copper, Adam Schatzker, who has a fantastic background and is a geologist, has real good technical understanding and many years of experience in banking and finance and capital markets. So he really is well placed to make this a success. And I will be the chair of the company and really looking forward with Adam to bring both those projects to fruition. And I think we really have an opportunity ahead of us to generate real value for our shareholders.
And this is going to be on the TSXV?
Yes, the primary,
Fantastic.
the TSXV.
What's the timing on this?
We expect to close in Q3, early Q3 is what we're aiming for.
Okay, fine. Now, obviously, we mentioned Teck a few times in here, and that kind of gets people excited. But what exactly is their role in terms of, strategically or in terms of optionality that they may have to stay involved with this project?
Well, they have a large shareholding, and they also have certain offtake rights. That was an important part for them in the deal. So they will have offtake rights, and there will be more details announced in the future for part of the offtake for both projects. And that, to me, is also a testament to Teck liking the project, because if they didn't believe in them, I don't think they'd be interested in the offtake, but they wanted to secure some offtake rights, and so that's part of the deal.
Okay, well, that's worth kind of digging into a little bit what that signals, because obviously sometimes in assets get buried in big portfolios of big companies, and sometimes big companies want to do kind of clear the decks somewhat. And therefore it could be valued as an overhang. But in this case, you're saying the fact that they've discussed this potential offtake agreement, they like what they see.
Well, it clearly signals that they have a long-term interest in the project, and that to me is a very positive.
Okay. Are there any other kind of earn-in or dilution protection rights beyond equity ownership from Teck?
Well, there will be investor rights agreements and details to be announced as we progress with the transaction.
Okay.
That will be pretty customary, I would say.
Right, and in terms of kind of governance control, exit pathways, etc., we'll see more of that as the prospectus comes out, like I assume. But again, fairly standard?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, there we go. A new company coming to you soon, folks. So should people reach out? How does it work? I mean, you could probably have you got the money side covered, or would you welcome retail interest in this? And if so, what should they do?
Look, the financing will be happening very soon, and of course, we welcome interest, and investors welcome to contact Kodiak.
Fine. Okay. Well, good luck with that. Thanks for coming on the show and letting us know about the imminent start of. Was it K? What are we calling it?
Kay Copper.
Kay Copper, spelled K with one letter, or
K-A-Y.
K-A-Y. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. We will see you soon, Claudia. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.